Hello, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. This is NFL pre-lock show here of DFS Army. We're back, week 11. Tattoo, man. I feel like we've been going through the gauntlet. You had the GOAT call last week of Davis Mills, or David Mills. I don't remember his name.
Davis Josh Mills.
I'm trying to erase him from my memory because I know I can't go back to it this week. But that was a hell of a call, man. Are you back on it or?
Originally, I was, and I probably was up until late last night. And now the game script worries me. Whether I don't think they're gonna have to come back from 26 down.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah. So I think Woody Marks would probably become more of my favorite play from that game than Mills, unfortunately, for my draft battle lineup.
I would say you've seen the light, but it worked out, so I can't say anything bad about it. Raz, man, I know we talked. You're recovering from a wedding last night, but how are you feeling about the slate today?
I am feeling indifferent so far. It's just, it's a slate that I'm trying to wrap my head around because on the main slate of games, J.J. McCarthy has the 5th highest props-based projection, and I'm just confused.
Yeah, we'll get there. It is a strange slate. It really is, especially from a passing perspective, but, it's another week of football, so we have to be thankful for it. Burns, the man, the myth, the legend, author of Winning the $1 Million Game. I feel like I read your content. We do a show together on Friday. I feel like I know how you're seeing things, but how are you feeling about this slate, man?
No, I think there's a lot of different ways to piece this one together. It's an interesting slate. I see a lot of chalk being formed, and it's an interesting chalk formation, like running back. I had to checkbox them, but I'm not feeling great about it.
Okay.
By any stretch is Chase Brown. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm still on the fence about this guy. I just don't really understand it. I get the targets, I get all that jazz, but you know what? When it comes down to it, is he actually going to be the guy? I don't know, man. Quarterbacks, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like this weekend is a weird week for quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going, I just like the home favorites this week. Away favorites haven't been doing it. Yeah, so this year I'm just going to stick with it. I'm hand building with stuff.
Okay.
So I'll have like a Herbert lineup because I'm hand building it. But, and I've added a couple quarterbacks that I'm hand building that are home underdogs, and I don't mind them. But they're not in my player pool. Like when I hand build outside my player pool.
Yeah. So you have a little bit of exposure, but most of your lineups, you're sticking to the strategy, which I love. All right, y'all. Love having y'all in the chat. We are here to answer your questions and also kind of talk through each position and talk to you all about what we're doing on this slate. I love it when those two things align. Otherwise, usually we'll have to wait towards the end of the show to kind of get to some of the questions that we didn't touch on at the start. Some of y'all were here early, so y'all know I'll get to those ones. Carlos said, "Good morning, gents. As always, let's fucking go. And who is your single entry and cash quarterback? I'm torn between Brissett, or JJ McCarthy, and your running backs. Fading CMC and single entry. Is that viable?" So, yeah, let's start off with the quarterback position. We'll touch on our favorite single entry quarterbacks, touch on some cash if you're playing cash lineups, and just in general, kind of talk through the quarterbacks and how you're thinking about them on this slate. Tattoo, I'll start with you on this.
Single entry, since I've had a come to Jesus today, has changed. Probably more for me looking at Flacco, probably for my single entry. But I have actually reverted back to the game I loved at the beginning of the week and fell out of favor with, but now I'm back on the Rams in Seattle.
Yeah.
The defenses worry me, but now I just think it's going to be a West Coast shootout.
Yep.
So I have some interest in Darnold and Stafford, but I'm not really farting with McCarthy or Brissett and overrated Herbert, Rodgers.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I
do
can
like
easily
that.
jump right down the rankings of ownership to Flacco Allen area.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like that Darnold and Stafford game too. Those divisional games get gross sometimes, but
It looks like a competitive game too.
Exactly.
So.
And if the points can start flowing a little bit early on, I see the same shootout happening too. All right, Raz, what about you? Single entry quarterbacks, any cash quarterbacks that stand out for you? What are your thoughts here?
Well, one near the top is going to be the one that Tattoo just absolutely shitted on at the end. But Herbert, like his props-based projection is just massive. Like it's 0.7 of a point lower than what Josh Allen's is, coming in at a cheaper price point. So like for me, it's that. Like I'm going to Herbert a lot. Like his prospect projection is better than Matthew Stafford, and Stafford's thrown like 74 touchdowns over the last 4 weeks or something. So yeah, to me it's Herbert really. I'm not sure what to do with the McCarthy thing. I'm just not big on Brissett this week because like his wide receiver room is Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch and Xavier Weaver. I don't know who else. Like, yes, he's going to throw 15 times to Trey McBride, but like you have to think they're going to try to take away McBride and make him beat him to Michael Wilson. Like, there's no confidence in that play. And Flacco probably makes a lot of sense too. But yeah, for me, it's really Herbert that I feel the strongest about. And that's really it.
Yeah. No, I'm not playing Herbert today, but I saw the same thing you did, like from a matchup standpoint. It scares me to not have exposure to him because he definitely does have some explosiveness in the spot. I'm hoping that this game just plays at a very slow pace, but we'll see what happens there. Burns, what about you? Where are you at with the quarterbacks on this slate?
Well, of everybody that was just listed, I play so much on metrics. And I'm looking at metrics of a high dollar single entry right now from a Vegas perspective. And this is the reason why I will never have Justin Herbert in my lineup on a single entry, is that there's been 0% away favorites utilized with a Vegas over of 45 and then what is he he's under, so it's 14%. So I'm not going to be there with that. So for me, away favorite has to be in the over 40, over 24, and he's just not there in this game. And the Vegas lines aren't going to revert anytime soon because they're just under. I think you have to play the home favorites, home underdogs. So I'm looking at a home dogs, and this is where I really want to touch on. This is the reason why I'm not on Jacoby Brissett today from a single entry perspective. The Vegas lines is an over 45 and under 24 for him. And that is just not going to get it done, actually, because 0% of high dollar single entry that I'm in, this has never been a thing. So, and this is over 10 weeks. And that's 10 lineups per 10 weeks. That's 100 lineups. So if there was going to be any percentage in there, then I would have seen it. So Jacoby Brissett is off my radar. Yeah, guys like McCarthy. He's a trash quarterback, but I don't know. There's something with him today. He's propping out pretty decent. I mean, he's in the 18s. It's just weird. I don't know. I don't think the guy's efficiency is very good. I think he's got a really low efficiency from every efficient metric across the entire board. Stafford might be a play. He's a efficient quarterback. Another guy that's kind of popping and nobody's really talking about him, and he's coming off it, just being out for multiple weeks, is Brock Purdy. I mean, nobody's talking about this guy.
Yeah.
He's 5,800. Maybe that's the dude for single entry. Maybe that's who I use, because I'm trying to build lineups here and I'm having a difficult time without using McCaffrey. And so maybe it is just McCaffrey and Purdy and not even have any receivers with him, because I don't like a lot of the receivers for San Francisco today.
Yep.
So maybe I'm wrong on the receiving core, but maybe, the receiving core might be there, it might be Jennings, just go Purdy, Jennings, and McCaffrey and call it a day there. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think McCaffrey's, not McCaffrey. I think McCarthy's fine. He's 5,200. I am not on Brissett. I've came to the conclusion I'm not on Brissett in single entry today. I will have him in cash. I think Purdy might be the play in single entry today. And I don't mind Josh Allen either if you feel like you have to go high dollar, and he's probably the best high dollar guy. And in single entry, I would play him naked.
Yeah. The quarterbacks you touched on, Burns, were some of the ones I wrote up on my leverage quarterback sheet. So I like pretty much every one you mentioned. For me, single entry quarterbacks, I'm looking at Matthew Stafford. JJ McCarthy is the one quarterback I've gone back and forth on. On Friday, I said if he's still the highest owned quarterback, I plan on fading him. It's now getting close between him and Brissett. And I think JJ's the better play between the two. And so I'm considering adding him back into my player pool, even though I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. So no passing attack really stood out for me this week from like an explosiveness perspective. And so I'm really just trying to find a nice balance between solid floor, decent upside, or just pay down and hope my running backs and tight ends can kind of do enough damage, is the way I'm thinking about it. But there's not really any plays I feel overly passionate about there. The rest of Carlos's question was running backs, fading CMC in single entry. Is that viable? Burns, I know you just mentioned CMC is someone that you're trying to make sure is in your single entry lineups. Have you thought about fading him at all, or was that on your radar?
I mean, it's a viability to fade him in single entry because he's the highest salaried player on the entire slate today, and it's difficult to build lineups around him and have anything around, have a high dollar wide receiver in there too. I mean, it's getting difficult. So yeah, I mean, if you feel like you want to fade him in single entry, by all means. I mean, he's had some down games this year on the road. And so if you want to fade him. There are other guys that are popping too. I mean, but he's got a really high projection. So
yeah. Raz, what do you think?
Yeah, it's tough to want to fade him. Like I get the 9K price point as being like the main thing, but price point, I guess, shouldn't be the only thing. Like I feel like you need multiple boxes when deciding to fade. And I just, his projection, prop-based projection is just so massive compared to the other guys. Like it's nearly a 20% increase over Josh Jacobs, as the third highest prop-based projection. Like that's a huge difference. So to me, he's so strong at the top. Like I think I'd rather just play him and focus on other things. But obviously just fading anybody, any position really, like can be viable.
Yeah, sure. Tattoo, do you feel differently here? You open to fade in CMC and single entry?
He's like the kind of like what Raz said. I don't want to.
Yeah.
But that price point is just tough, and I understand like his props are so much higher, but it's just so many other running backs I can go to that I'd rather spend it somewhere else probably.
Yeah, I get it.
He's not in my single entry.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Chuck, I appreciate the super chat. He said going all in with Joe Flacco today. Like Burns always says, there's a path for players to win, and with Darius Slay out, I just see Joe slinging it. All right, Chuck, I'm with you. We like Flacco here, so I hope he crushes for you. Xavier said, "Good morning, guys. Who is your favorite quarterback and receiver stack today, and your favorite standalone receiver?" We touched on quarterbacks, but we didn't really touch on our favorite QB receiver stack. Burns, I'll go to you. Do you have a favorite pairing today?
No, not really. I just think it's really, pair a quarterback with with a receiver type plays today. We'll get to the wide receivers. There's a couple of guys that are just going unowned, and I think they could pop today. So we'll talk about them when we get to the receivers. But I don't have any stacks that I'm in love with. I'm just, pretty vanilla today.
Yeah. Raz Tattoo, do y'all feel differently, or you on the same page?
My favorite is Stafford to Adams, and my favorite standalone wide receiver, I think, is still going to be Nico Collins.
Yeah. Why Adams over Puka?
Ownership.
Okay. That's getting different.
That's about it. I mean,
Raz?
Puka always gets hurt.
Real.
Raz, what are your thoughts?
I think my favorite combination is Flacco and Higgins. T's catching a lot of touchdowns, over the last handful of weeks. Had 10 targets against Pittsburgh the first time they faced off, just a few weeks ago as well. And it's really just because Chase is just going to be owned everywhere anyways, with Flacco, without Flacco, whatever. So I want most of my Flacco exposure to come with T. Higgins alongside of him.
All right.
Yeah. Standalone wide receivers, I'll give the same answer I give every week. It's the stud guys at the top because you just don't need to. So it's JSN, it's Puka. Chase. Rashee Rice probably because I don't really think I'm going to use Mahomes. So I might just use Rice. But then I don't really have a ton of standalone guys, near the bottom or lower in price point. Maybe somebody like Parker Washington. I don't really want to use Trevor Lawrence, but Parker Washington's getting plenty of targets. So I don't love that he's, been priced up a little bit. One of the guys that I've included in some prop picks, Christian Watson. So I guess he's probably somebody as a standalone guy that can just pop for a big play or two. Loves look pretty bad, but Watson at least is getting downfield targets. So I might try that since everybody will be on Jacobs.
Sure. All right, let's talk running backs a little bit. Burns, I know it sounded like you had a few guys. Well, no, that was the receiver position. But what are your thoughts when it comes to running backs this week?
I think, up top, there's really good plays. McCaffrey's a fine play. Single entry, it's a little different because he's so much more expensive than, Bijan. He's like 700 more. But he's propping out as the highest prop player on the entire slate. He's got the highest TD anytime scoring prop at minus 260 last time I looked. Josh Jacobs is just behind him at minus 220. And they're showing in their prop projections here. Bijan is interesting today. I don't know. There's something about him today. I do want to have him in lineups. Guys that are kind of off in this higher range is like Kyron Williams. His prop is extremely low. 12.6 is low. I do like Rico a good bit today. I think Rico could have some good run today. And then as we head down in here into the value plays, I think Jaylen Warren becomes a really good play today at home, favored. But then we get down into the fives, and this is where it becomes interesting because a lot of people are planting their flag on Chase Brown today, and I'm just not seeing it. I said it on Tournament Tactics, and I'll say it again. I don't see what everybody else is seeing here, and it's a metric-based play. Like from a metrics-based play from the Vegas side, I don't see it at all. And then defensive metric side, it's not even close to being in the stratosphere of 25% ownership. I'm capping him. Like I was probably going to be between 20 and 30%, but man, I'm going to cap him at 20 and call it a day because I just don't believe in this guy today. I think he can burn some. I think he's going to burn people. And you know, I think you're going to see him in the Millie Maker. I mean, we got 25% ownership on him. Usually the Millie Maker on these chalky guys that are in the fives, they're pushing 10%, 15% more than that. And so if he gets at 40% and he falters, like I'm talking, he needs to be 25 points for him to be in tournament winning value. And if he's not there, I'm, you know, if he's just like, maybe he's at 20, I'm still like, he still didn't get there. So I'm not really that upset about not having him in lineups. But, you know, the guys around him aren't all that great either. I mean, Travis Etienne, his prop projection's 14.5. And, you know, the guy that's starting to prop up more. And I think this is interesting because here's something that if for the members, if they're not following the props and the prop projections very closely day to day, as soon as they come out on Thursday and then into Friday and Saturday. So Friday evening into Saturday morning and then Saturday evening into Sunday morning. The guy that's actually starting to push is Aaron Jones. And he is pushing hard. Like yesterday, he was in the 12s. He's in the 14s today. So I don't do with what you want with that, but man, he's a good play. He is a solid play. He's at home. He's favored over 24, over 45. I mean, this is a solid play. If you want to fade McCarthy, you pivot to Aaron Jones. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
I like those names too. I think we're seeing a lot of things the same way.
Plus, it'd be awesome if Aaron Jones outscores Chase Brown.
Yeah, then you have to say, come on, y'all. That was me. Y'all were all playing Chase Brown to look at Aaron Jones with half the ownership. That would actually be a hell of a call. Raz, what about you? Who are you looking at here at the running back position?
I mean, it's mostly everything Burns has already said. I mean, when it comes to Chase Brown, I think a lot of people just are looking at the 11 carries for 108 yards against the Steelers just a couple weeks ago. Like, it's just automatically going to drive things up because he just did it against this team. And he's at least looked better the last 3 weeks compared to the first 6. So that's probably driving it. I'm just like, I was going to talk about Aaron Jones. I don't have to now. Like, that's the play.
Sorry,
DeMercado, like, I know in Burns's chat, he said he was taking him off. I'm still on him. Like, Knight playing through an ankle injury, like, just doesn't worry me all that much. And we already talked about how Arizona has basically no wide receivers. I think DeMercado just touches the ball a little bit more. So a $4,500 running back for me on this slate can make things be a little different, and I like that route. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Warren's one of my favorite guys. Overall, I think I'm going to sprinkle in some Judkins. I know Baltimore's played – their defense has played a little better the last couple weeks, but I think Judkins at home probably goes overlooked since Warren's cheaper, Rico Dowdell just slightly more. I'll just mix in some Judkins, and, yeah, like, Kyron Williams has to score basically 2 touchdowns at this point to hurt you if you're not playing them. So I'll gladly bet against that since it looks like they're trying to prop Stafford's stats up all season long.
See, I didn't because they said Bam is going to be playing today, and I was like, oh man, this is such a bad dynamic, with these two, and he's going to be in play. But if he is actually like still injured and he's just going to try to make it a go, and he has an ankle injury, I said him. I took him off my cheat sheets, but I said in my cheat sheets before I deleted them out, and I think you could probably put him back in play. Is that wouldn't it be the most DFS thing ever with the chalk that's forming on every single Arizona player, and then it's the run game that actually does it. And all these people that are putting all this chalk on Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch and, even Trey McBride to a certain extent, what if it fails and Brissett fails and the whole passing offense fails? But then you got DeMarcado who's out there and he's got 2 touchdowns at 4,500 and he's got 50, 60 yards ground and he catches the ball at the backfield too. So he got 20, 30 yards. He's already at 25. He's tournament winning. That's just how it is. So I
just think like they're without the wide receivers, I don't really think they're going to be able to traditionally drive the ball down the field as well. So like I think that's what takes Knight a little bit out of play because he's not explosive. And then coming off of an ankle issue, like DeMarcado's been the one that's shown explosive plays out of the backfield. So like it's probably splash plays from that offense. And if it comes from a running back, it's DeMarcado to me. And that's why I want to be on him, especially at 4,500.
Yeah, and he can fail. So every member in the chat here, DeMarcado can definitely fail. Mm-hmm. So, he can get you a 5, he can get you a 6, or he can get you 20. It's just there. Like, he can fail. So don't think like you got to have like significant ownership in this guy. He's less than 1% owned. So anything like in the 5% range, you're probably money. So
y'all are this close to getting me on this play. When I saw the night news too, I just took him out of my player pool, but I'm halfway there. I'm halfway on board. Tattoo, what about you? How are you thinking about running backs this week?
I'm thinking my Aaron Jones call got thrown out twice already before it got to me.
It's okay.
I was so happy about I'm gonna talk about Aaron Jones. But now I'm not.
Now it's gone.
I like Judkins. My favorite pay up is Bijan, and cheaper I like Woody Marks. And I guess the only person that didn't get named that I'm higher on than everybody else is James Cook, Lorenzo James Cook III.
Nice. Yeah, and James Cook, you just think they're going to utilize him more this week?
I think so.
Okay. I think y'all.
Insight.
Tattoo, what are your thoughts on the DeMarcado situation?
That I'm not playing him.
Okay, good. That's my final deciding factor. I like a lot of the guys y'all mentioned. I think the only guy who wasn't mentioned that I'll have exposure to is RJ Harvey. With J.K. Dobbins out, I think they will give him just more opportunities. Don't love the matchup against the Chiefs, but I'll take a shot on him at 5,400 with how explosive he can be, especially in the passing game. I just think I like the spot. Let's see. Nolan, appreciate the super chat. He said, Burns, how many pass catchers to stack with the following receivers? Flacco, Purdy, Rodgers, Mahomes, if you played him. Do you have a thought process on this, Burns?
Yeah, Flacco's with 2 probably. And it's very easy with 2 for him. Just hit Chase and Higgins and call it a day. Purdy, I think you can go one of his wide receivers and then CMC. Or if you feel entitled to go with Kittle, then Kittle as well over the wide receiver. But I wouldn't go any more than 2 with him. Rodgers is I could see just doing 1 with Rodgers. Though I think there's a $3,200 wide receiver with Rodgers that could actually do pretty well today. And then Mahomes. Mahomes is interesting because they spread it around so much. There's not just he's just not funneling it into one guy. He's spreading it around, and a lot of people are just going to naturally gravitate to Rashee Rice because he is the absolute alpha wide receiver in their offense. But actually, it could actually be a Hollywood Brown day today, and I've written him up that way. He handles single high, and he handles man very well. He's actually the best wide receiver on the entire team in man coverages, and it's not even close. So he's going to see a lot of man today, and the coverages and single high. So I really like Hollywood Brown today. He's the guy in that 43, 42, 44, 4,500 range that I'm really starting to like a lot. So yeah, and he is on my cheat sheets. So wrote him up. And the $3,200 guy with Pittsburgh is Roman Wilson. He's a coverage. The coverages that they will see today, he's really good in those coverages. So.
All right, that's another one that I haven't heard a lot of this week. I like it. Brutus, what's up, man? Good to see you here. He said, thoughts on Buffalo and Cincinnati with the wins. Raz, did you give this game any additional thought with some of the weather going on? Or these two games?
I'll have to look into the Cincinnati stuff. Buffalo, I probably wasn't going to be on Josh Allen anyways, just because from a price point, and I wasn't playing Baker right now, so that one probably isn't a big worry for me. I'll just have to look into the Cincinnati one to get an idea because I'm a little behind in that regard, I guess.
Okay. Burns, you look into any of this at all? Did it change anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, what's his name? The weather dude for us. What did he say about Cincinnati? I didn't really see that. Is it going to be weird today in Pittsburgh?
30 to 35 mile an hour wind gust. As of last night, he hasn't given an update yet today.
Yeah. Not really sure how that would actually play out. Chase he can do it all. So he can get him out of the backfield. He can actually have short passing situations. Higgins is the one where I would worry more about because he's more downfield. Whereas Chase is all over the formation and he can actually just benefit from the higher winds because he's not always going down the field all the time. He's got a lot of yak, so on a lot of his receptions. So I'm not really worried about Chase. I'd probably pivot less ownership on Higgins, but I don't know. We've seen wind is showing up in this year, and there's been games where we kind of got off of it because of it, but they still did all right. So I don't think I'm going to technically get off of it. But with Buffalo, I think it actually is not a terrible thing because Josh Allen plays a lot in poor weather. I mean, Buffalo is a poor weather city. It's stuck right in the middle between two Great Lakes, so Ontario and Erie, and they're playing in a lot of bad weather anyway. I think the guy that actually helps out. I think it takes Gabe Davis out of the equation. It takes that kind of a receiver out of the equation because all he's doing is going down the field straight, and they're throwing it over the top to him. Shakir becomes viable more so than he would have with good weather, and James Cook becomes that much more viable. So with Josh Allen, so those are your two stacking partners with him, but it's very expensive. So that's how I'd play Josh Allen today.
Yeah, the Buffalo News weather situation has been something talked about throughout the week, and this game I liked a lot more earlier in the week, and it kind of got me off of a guy like Baker Mayfield. But a guy like Josh Allen, I'm still fine with because he does have that rushing upside. He is used to it, all the things that Burns just mentioned. So I'm not overly concerned about Allen, but similar to what Burns said, it did make me like him more naked. It made me like him more of Shakir and guys like Knox as well, and less of the other receivers, even with Keon Coleman now not playing, which is a crazy situation. Stacey, I'm going to forgive you for this one time, but I'll get to your question. Thoughts on Dortch over Wilson? Burns, do you have a strong lean here?
No, not really. Dortch might actually be the guy because he's in the slot, and you can burn San Francisco in the slot. Plus, he's $500 less, and he's going to garner a lot less ownership than Wilson. All those projection players where they just, utilize the projections to build everything, and they button click and all that. Wilson will be the guy over Dortch. So I don't mind it. Dortch is on my cheat sheets because of it, but they both are, so because of their extreme value. And yeah, I think if you went Dortch over Wilson and you didn't suck up all that ownership, I think you'd be fine. But both can fail.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am over on both just because of the way I'm building lineups today, but it feels disgusting. Right now, I have more Wilson, but in a single entry line, I'm fine with Dortch as like a GPP pivot. I don't hate it at all. Let's see. Big Rob, what's up? He said, Burns, do you have any changes to your player pool this week?
No, not technically. There is a guy that I didn't mention in my chat, but I'll mention it here. He's starting to see a little bit more. Starting to see him in my lineups a little bit more is Cooper Kupp today. Because he's 4,100, he's over the slot. He's going to be in the slot, and LA is susceptible to the slot receivers. And he's actually pretty decent in the coverages that he's going to see today. I do really like JSN. I think he's a great play as well. So these are the kind of pivot, like low salaried guys. So yeah, if I'm looking in that 4K range, I'm really trying to see guys like how they fit. And another guy that's going to pop a little bit more now, and I've seen him pop a little bit more because BTJ is out, is Jacoby Myers. And Jacoby Myers is actually starting to prop pretty well today because of that. He didn't prop well earlier in the week or when the prop projections came out because BTJ was still factored into the equation. But he's going to prop out, and I have built Trevor Lawrence lineups today, and he is the only receiver that I'm having with Trevor Lawrence today.
Damn, there you go. All right. Look outside your window. I appreciate the super chat, man. He said, Mr. Burns, what are the flex settings for the week, and where are we at percentage of ownership? For those of you who are wondering what the hell he's talking about, those are settings in the domination station with us here at DFS Army. If you're interested in having access to the optimizer, being in the Discord, being in Burns' Discord, getting some of these questions answered from us, you can do that by being in the Discord. The link is in the description. You can use the promo code there, or you can use promo code Tattoo for a 10% discount as well. All right. So, Burns, what are your thoughts here? What are your settings for the week here?
A lot of the back testing that we've done, it's been really good because we've really honed in on these percentages. And we've determined that 140 is the most optimal percentage at this current point in time based on how everything has been laid out the last 10 weeks. And we're starting to see that the chalk had formed, and then so ownership, projection of ownership at 140, and then flex settings that I'm running, and it's been through all these Millie Maker back testing and research is 55, 15, 100. That's how I'm running it, and that's running back, tight end, and wide receiver.
Perfect. All right. Let's see. Stephen Lynn said, can you enlighten on the Gabe Davis situation? Burns just touched on it a little bit, so we won't go too deep into that. Nolan said, can someone please talk about Darnold? Seems like he's going way under the radar and has been so good this year in a high total game. Nolan, stop trying to bring attention. I like Sam Darnold this week. I mentioned it on Friday. Tattoo, do you have any interest in Darnold?
I think he's on mute.
Oh, my bad. You're good now.
I see how you are muting me. Like I kind of like you were alluding to, it's like nothing to see here. Just move on from Darnold. You got nothing to see here.
Mm-hmm.
Rams defense is elite. Just move on.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
But we like them. We like them.
We don't like you in our neighborhood. Keep going.
Ryan Jacobs said, are your builds ending up being more 2 tight ends or 3 running backs? Tattoo, I'll go back to you on this one, and then I'll go to Raz. What are you seeing?
Oh, shit. Definitely, it's not 2 tight ends. Probably more 3 running backs than 2 tight ends.
Okay. Raz, what about you? What are you seeing so far?
I mean, I haven't completed a run yet, but I really hope it's not 2 tight end heavy. Okay. The overall tight end position feels a lot weaker this week than most weeks for me. So
no Tyler Warren.
Well, sure. I don't really play Tyler Warren as much as the average person does. Just because I play so much JT, like I'm not playing those 2 together. But yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping, that I'm not getting multiple tight ends.
Okay. Burns, any additional thoughts on this?
Are your builds ending up? They're ending up 3 RBs because I'm forcing it with the flex percentages, and then the 2 tight ends. They're just going to be there because salaries are lending it to be that way. But I do favor the 3 RB sets over 2 tight end sets. But if you're running Trey McBride out today, you're going to have to go 2 tight ends almost because unless you go in the 5s salary range for your wide receivers, you're not going to be able to get anything above like 5 or 6K wide receivers to be able to have Trey McBride and then 3 RBs in there. So,
yeah. And I'll say for me, I'm really just heavy on these 2. I don't have a lot of 4 wide receiver builds. I primarily have 2 tight ends and 3 running backs. I'm really just kind of going heavy on that approach this week. Brandon, I appreciate it. Convince Burns on this Jameis stack. I like Jameis this week, but Burns is stingy because he's good with his money. I am willing to burn it. So this is a very scary stack. I can't talk, and I will not talk anyone into doing it, but I am having a little bit of exposure to it. Let's see. A lot of questions we've touched on already. I feel you, BT. I'm having a hard time fading Herbert too, but I am. Super Cup revenge game, you're thinking. Raz, do you have any interest in a Cooper Cup revenge game?
No. Like, I don't know how it can be a revenge game considering like all his best performances came in that uniform, and like revenge can't take away the fact that he's just dust compared to his former self. Like, he's just not magically going to be able to turn back the hands of time. And then he's wide receiver 3 now at this point because Shaheed is in town.
True. Pollock said, with Keon out, who stands out as the Bills' number 2 receiver? Raz, I'll go back to you on this. Who are you looking at here from the Bills with Keon Coleman not playing anymore? Healthy stretch.
Nobody. I mean, Shakir, I guess, but like I'm not a Bills number 2 wide receiver is just not somebody I'm going to play today, especially with the wind issues. I just don't feel the need to. I mean, like I guess Curtis Samuel, like, is he even playing? I didn't even look at the Bills, to be honest, because I don't plan on playing their offense. Like Samuel's, just another guy that's probably a short area target guy. So like if you have to force somebody, he might be somebody I'd gamble with, but I don't want to. I'd rather play the Arizona wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, basically what's been happening is Keon Coleman has just been out there right beside Shakir. They play multiple tight end sets in the Buffalo offense, and so we're really just going to have to see what they're going to do because there's been not really a lot of hints towards who's really going to benefit here. They're bringing Gabe Davis in, so we're assuming he's going to play for really the first time this season. Guys like Josh Palmer might be more involved. Curtis Samuel, he's been out there. Maybe he sees a boost. Elijah Moore, guys like Shavers too, are all just potential guys who could benefit. But there's nothing that we can look at and say, hey, this is what they've done and this is what will happen. For me, I'm really just going to take a wait and see approach because we haven't seen it yet.
You're missing the guy in Buffalo.
Who?
That's going to get targets.
Who?
You're missing the guy in Buffalo who's going to end up
Knox?
screwing it out.
Or who do you see?
Jackson Hawes.
Oh, God. Who? No, I know who you're talking about.
He's going to end up having like a touchdown or 2 touchdowns today out of nowhere.
I mean, Hawes is probably going to score more fantasy points than Knox, but I don't want either of them anywhere near my lineups.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, trying to get him in my single entry lineups or anything.
Yeah, and just so you all know, Jackson Hollis, he's a tight end for the Bills, which is, again, they utilize their tight ends a lot in this offense. Burns, what are your thoughts? Do you have anyone who's really standing out for you or anything else to add?
No, for me, it's really vanilla. It's just Shakir and James Cook. I mean, just call it a day here.
Yep, agreed. All right. Peter said, DK Turney thoughts using Gabe Davis, or is it Palmer, or neither? Literally the Bills receivers. Any interest in taking a shot on them in DK tournaments, Raz?
No, I just don't think there's enough upside for it. Like if everything was perfect, sure, like you could see a Gabe Davis throwback, but like it's deep balls that aren't a good thing in this game. So yeah, I just pass.
Perfect. Coderez said, I don't see Gadsden in the player pool. Let's see.
He's in mine.
Yep, he's showing up for me too. 4,600 right here. But let's talk about tight ends. Tattoo, I'll start with you. What tight end is really, or are you prioritizing on this slate?
Without the obvious.
I mean, we all know McBride is the guy. Without the obvious.
I like Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz.
Okay, cool.
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz, and more Dalton Schultz.
I kind of like Pat Fryermuth.
Yeah.
Theo Johnson. I guess George Kittle since his boyfriend's back, but I mean, I hate Brock Purdy, so I have a hard time. But yeah, George Kittle, yeah, he's certainly in play.
I like Brock Purdy. I had never played Mac Jones, but you can talk me into some Brock Purdy.
You couldn't talk me into Brock Purdy if my nuts were on fire and you had the only glass of water.
Oh, love it.
Oh, shit.
Raz, what about you? Where are you at with the tight end position this week?
I'll play some Gadsden. I'm going to play some multiple tight ends in 2 games. The Baltimore-Cleveland game, both sides have 2 tight ends that are very valuable. The Baltimore side, especially, I really like Isaiah Likely, and it's going to sound weird, but with Bateman out, like I think they go a little bit more 2 tight end set more often. Like they already did use it, and like because they're not putting DeAndre Hopkins out there to run, 50 routes. Like that's just not his role any longer. So without Bateman, I think that it's just more 2 tight end sets, and Likely's ramping up, looks a little bit better. He's a little more dangerous and explosive than Mark Andrews. It's just Mark Andrews could catch 2 touchdowns. So, like, I'm going there. And then the other side of Njoku and Fannin, like, yeah, there's a chance where they both could lead the team in targets on any given week. So, you got to play them both. And then Pittsburgh, like, you just flip a coin and figure out which tight end is going to catch a touchdown pass. Like, Jonnu earlier in the season was stronger. He hasn't been as much recently. Freiermuth, Darnell Washington catching touchdowns. Like, one of them will, like, but you just have to guess correctly at this point.
Yeah. No, I get it. I hear you too on a lot of those plays. Burns, what about you to kind of wrap up the tight end position? How are you seeing it?
I like guys like, man, let me take a peek here. I like guys that are in good spots this week from a Vegas perspective. So home favored guys. The Pittsburgh guys are fine. Jonnu Smith, I think I favor him over Freiermuth, even though Freiermuth had the better game the last time around, and a lot of people will just go right back to that. But I don't mind Jonnu Smith. I mean, Trey McBride is far and away, projection-wise, the best play on the slate. So I don't mind. I like him a good bit, but I don't really like him in single entry. I just think he constricts the lineup too much. Other guys, I don't mind Theo Johnson today. I think he's fine play today. But I just don't know how Jameis Winston's going to utilize him. He's been great with Jackson Dart, but how will Jameis utilize him? There was a guy that people were on last week, and I just didn't really understand why they were on him last week, because it just really wasn't the right play. Because just things just didn't factor in that way. I've played him a good bit this year, and he's actually on my cheat sheets. He's 2,700, and he's in the game that you guys love, the Los Angeles Rams Seattle game, and it's Tyler Higbee. He is very good against this coverage that he's going to see, and he has been known to get into the end zone in games like this. So I can see him potentially getting a game or a touchdown in this game. Other guys that I like is Noah Fant. He's in a game that could pop for him. He had 14.5 points in this game last time. He really doesn't have any target. Mike Gesicki is just a guy, so he's not really pushing him for targets. So I think Noah Fant is pretty much secure there from a target perspective. TJ Hawkinson, his prop projection has been weird this week. It was as high as like 7, and now it's down in the 6s. So that kind of is showcasing that he may not perform as well as you would like, but he's 3K. And then, you could always go to Kittle too. So,
Perfect.
Yeah. And then Harold Fannon's another guy.
I like that you mentioned Higbee, because I was getting a scary amount of him in my Stafford lineups, and everything in me wanted to lower it, but I didn't do anything. So hopefully that comes through for us. And I think y'all touched on all the right guys here. There were a couple of questions I saw earlier that I thought were interesting, but I might have lost track of them. Anything you see?
Tattoo's on mute, and he's trying to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tattoo, what are you saying?
I'm starting to take this as a little bit of racism.
No.
That I'm getting muted constantly. Some fat hate or something. But Loveland was another guy I was trying to miss. But every time I read his name, I see Lovelace, like Linda Lovelace.
It makes you want to. Yeah, no, I get it. No, I like that call too. And let's see. I know someone had a question for you, Tattoo, or not Tattoo. I think it might have been at Raz, but
1-800-7.
I lost track of it. So maybe it is personal. I'm sorry. But someone else had a question about Jordan Love. And I like that question because I was also thinking about Love earlier this week, but ended up just saying no because it always just ends up being a Josh Jacobs week. But Raz, you had some interest in some of the pass catchers for Green Bay. Did you consider Jordan Love at all?
No. I only have interest in Christian Watson as a big play scenario. Love just looks bad right now. A lot of people around here in the Green Bay area want him gone. Like they've given up on him. But I mean, I don't know. Like to me, it's really just Jacobs. But I think without Tucker Kraft, I think that's just a huge loss for Jordan Love in general. So there's just not going to be any consistency. And with Christian Watson, you don't need consistency out of Love. You just need that one or two big play. And I think he can get that, couple 35-yard catches, one of them for a touchdown, and he's 4X or more.
Perfect. And appreciate it, Groovy. If you all could hit the like button, would really appreciate it. If not, that's life for you. Let's talk about defenses. Burns, I know you are always prepared for this question. Who's standing out for you here at the defense position?
There's a couple up top that are good. Obviously, the Texans are in a great spot because they're going to Tennessee, and Tennessee, as Cam Ward, a rookie, hasn't really done anything this year. You can fire that right back up. And then the Packers, a lot of people are starting to gravitate towards them because Jameis Winston is the quarterback, and he's been known to throw a lot of interceptions. You can go right there with that, too. Steelers aren't garnering hardly any ownership at all, and they're starting to get more and more healthy on their defense, and they're starting to get better on their defense. And so I don't mind them at all today as a kind of like a contrarian approach to your defenses because they are favored, they are home, they play better at home, and they're kind of in that lower threes. But the one real low threes that I really like a lot today is Kansas City Chiefs, even though I am building out lineups with Bo Nix as hand builds today. So don't mind them. But I think if you can get into the twos and not get way down into the twos, where, a lot of when you build single entry lineups, a lot of people just gravitate to the lowest one, and it's usually the Titans, and they call it a day, is the Chargers and the Rams, which I think could actually be okay today too. So
awesome. All right, Raz, what about you? Where are you at with defenses?
Thought Burns might ignore the Rams and leave that for me, but I have emojis on 4 defenses. 2 of them got the adore, which was the Rams and the Giants. The aforementioned Love scenario, the Giants cheap. Just makes sense to me more than playing the Titans defense, who is jumping from a projection standpoint, which I don't like. I don't love Davis Mills, but it's still the Titans defense, so I don't understand it. The other 2 that I've given emojis were the Chiefs, and then the Vikings at home against Caleb Williams on the road. Like early in the year, we saw Caleb Williams definitely a different guy when he's on the road compared to his home. So Vikings at home as a defense makes a ton of sense to me. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
I like that. Tattoo, what about you? Where are you at?
Packers are up there for me. Chargers. The Bears. I feel like the Bears force a lot of turnovers. Or there's something in my head there. And J.J. McCarthy is only good at handing it off.
Also true.
Vikings there. Cardinals. I like, like if Purdy's wrist is all limp and he can't throw it.
Got it. All right.
Go over.
What was that?
I said, did that go over you? The Purdy limp wrist?
It did. It did. All right. Let's see. Tattoo, I'll go back to you. Like favorite sneaky plays on the slate. I know you always have an ATD you like to drop too.
An ATD. Oh, I thought you were giving some weird sexual thing.
Oh,
Stafford, I guess he's only 3%, and I will have some Davis Mills.
Of course you will.
Okay. Running backs, like I said, I love Aaron Jones. A lower owned Woody Marks, Judkins.
Love it.
Wide receivers, I mean, like I said, Nico Collins at 8% is one of my favorites. I do actually love Ibuka at 5%, Adams at 4%, and blah, 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 blah. Tez Johnson and Jaden Higgins. I do like if he gets 11 more targets this week,
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I'm with you on the Nico call. I'm double the field there too. What about the tight end position?
Tight end, I guess Dalton Schultz probably would be my. Might as well play Davis Miles since I'm playing the whole fucking team.
Yeah, might as well.
But
Schultz.
Colson Loveland, Linda Lovelace's kid, probably my second favorite.
Nice. All right. And then defenses are always defenses. Pretty flat ownership there.
Packers would probably be who I play.
Okay, fair. Raz, what about you?
I mean, it's the only quarterback not really mentioned might be Lamar. Like,
okay,
just being able to play a guy like Lamar with the upside that he has at just 2%, like it's hard for me to pass that up, even though I don't necessarily love the game at all. It's just we know what kind of upside he has, and like he could be the highest raw point scorer at the quarterback position at just 2%. Like, just have to play him, even though I don't love it. DiMercato is my running back. Less or nearly a 0.5% owned. Like, I will tell you that I will be 40% or 40 times the field on that. I've already set it to a min 20%, and I may just end up more. Wide receivers, guys that I do like. I mean, Christian Watson, I obviously talked about that. Jerry Jeudy, I don't really know if I want to chase the game, but he's been decent recently. Troy Franklin has been out-targeting Cortland Sutton the last few weeks. So I'm interested in that one a little bit, even though I'm not as high on Knicks as Burns might be. And I think that's about it at the wide receiver position. Tight end is Isaiah Likely. I will sprinkle in some Terrence Ferguson. Like you talked about Higbee or Burns did, and then you liked it, but Ferguson's like the downfield tight end threat for the Rams, so more of a big play thing.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty much it.
And Tattoo, is that you? Who Woody Marks is your ATD?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
Might
Burns,
as well
what about,
stick with the Houston thing.
yeah, you're just staying on brand at this point. Might as well get a jersey. Burns, I said, might as well get a jersey. Hop out. You like the Cowboys?
Yeah, they're the best team in Texas.
Yeah, not wrong. Burns, what about you? Where are you at with favorite low-owned sneaky plays this week?
I just want to bring up one thing before I get to it. The props have, or the domination has refreshed and updated. And since then, JJ McCarthy's prop projection has gone up 0.6 points. So he's in the 19s now, 19.2. So I think I'll just gravitate to him to my single entry contest. Low salaried, home favored. Vegas metrics are in alignment with him. So I'll just gravitate to him. He's actually propping out is the second highest fantasy points per dollar play on the entire slate, with Jacoby Brissett being the first. Okay. That aside, looking at quarterback position, the reason why I'm building hand builds lineups with a couple of guys are they're low owned, they're home underdogs, which has actually done very well in Millie Maker contests this year. This is just Millie Maker, so don't take this and think that I got to go do it for every single contest that is out there. Especially when you look at single entry, you don't want to do that. When it's Millie Maker contest type, home underdogs have been really getting it done versus away and favorites and away underdogs. Bo Nix last year in this contest, the same exact contest, he put up 4 touchdowns. He had 340 yards passing. So I don't mind him at all today, and I'm hand building around him just because of that. He's home. It's not a bad spot for him, but I'm only building like 1 or 2 lineups with him just because. Low owned guy. So outside of that, I think a couple of guys, and you already touched on them, but Stafford is low owned in a really good game. I like. I don't mind Penix today. He's fine. He doesn't meet all the metrics, but he's still fine. If you want to roll that. Let's see, running backs. Quinshon Judkins is 2.16% owned today. Projected, don't really see why he's that low owned. He's in a decent spot, and I could see him actually doing okay. Let's see who else here. I'm trying to get this. James Cook. We talked a lot about him today. He's under 10% owned right now. And typically when James Cook is being overlooked, he's the guy that actually really just destroys slates and gets in the 30s. And if you didn't have him, you wished you had. And this is one of those days. He's home. He's favored. And he can actually put up a lot of points against this Tampa Bay defense. From the wide receiver perspective, Nico Collins is under 10%. I like the Devontae Adams call from Tattoo earlier. Looking at the top guys, the top 3 guys, not really understanding why Puka Nacua is only going to be 12% owned today. And if that's the case, he could destroy the slate and explode the slate at 12% ownership, whereas Jamar Chase is double his ownership, and Jamar Chase could fail. Other guys, Emeka Buka at 5%. That's really low for him. The guy that I really don't mind at all today, and he's really low owned, is McMillan. He's propping out fairly decent at 5,600, and he's less than 6% owned. T. Higgins, 6.3% owned. He could be the guy that actually leads Jamar Chase to failing today. He could be the touchdown guy. Let's see who else. Plus the wind and everything. So I kind of talked about the wind with that play earlier. Hollywood Brown is extremely low owned. I mean, I think he's less than 1% owned. Yeah, he's 0.72% owned at 4,300. Talked about his coverage matchup today. There is no Patrick Surtain. So a lot of people gravitate right over to Rashee Rice. But Rashee Rice and the coverages that they see doesn't produce the quality fantasy output as Hollywood Brown does. And Hollywood Brown at 0.72% ownership is very intriguing. And then at the tight end position, a couple of guys have already really touched on him. Noah Fant, he's 1% ownership, a 1.5 ownership on Tyler Higbee. Jonnu Smith, he's at about 4% ownership. I mean, these are all good plays. in the 2s and 3s, and then you got Loveland was talked about. He's a decent play. Freiermuth at 3%. I mean, these guys are all good plays. Harold Fannin at 3% ownership is a good play as well. Defense, I think probably if the Tennessee Titans are going to be 18% owned, I really don't understand that at all. That's a significant fade for me. Because when you look at defenses, in an 18% owned defense at 2,300 is always going to be a fade for me, because defenses fail remarkably at a high rate. I think one of the best defenses from an ownership perspective today is the Chiefs. They're under 2% ownership, and they're just a solid defense all around. So I don't mind it at all today. And if you can get them under 2% ownership and they, get 10 plus points, you're doing well with that. So, yeah.
Love it. All right, y'all. Well, that's going to be the show today. We will be back next week. Per usual, wish you all luck. Hope you all do great today. Look forward to celebrating with you all in the Discord. If not, we'll see you next week. Peace out, y'all. Bye.